Hi everybody, how you all doing? I wanted to give you a quick video about fear. I made some notes so I don't forget. So I came up with this mantra earlier today. Excuse me, still have a croaky voice. So with fear we assume that the thing we're afraid of is a real thing and that we have to be afraid of it, or that we have to have control over it. And what we need to realise is that, so first of all, fear, you can look at fear as an acronym, fear, false evidence appearing real. When we fear something, how much of that is a very real fear in front of you, a physical fear, or is it something that we've made up that's in our heads? And that's not to take away from that's not to trivialise it, because of course I've been dealing with this a lot of my life. It's a very, very difficult thing to just switch off. It's a difficult thing to deal with. So we can't control everything. We can't control life. We can't control what happens to us. We can't control the things we're afraid of. So what we can control to a certain degree is our mindset. We can control our thoughts about something. So the thing to remember is that we can never be 100% sure of anything, no matter how much control we think we have. We can think that we're in a relationship and that relationship is going to be there forever, or that job is going to be there forever. The key thing is, with life, everything is fluid, everything is evolving, things are changing all the time. Sometimes the things that we think are really certain aren't. So fluidity is key and flexibility is key, because we cannot absolutely control everything. And we cannot control the things that we're afraid of. If you think about something, if you think about a situation that really makes you afraid at the moment, okay, so think of a situation that really, really gives you a lot of fear. Now, it could be a fear of death, it could be a fear of a relationship ending, it could be a fear of getting into a relationship, it could be a fear of losing your job, it could be a fear of having no money. It doesn't actually matter what that fear is. But imagine now that you were able to feel as if you had complete control over that situation. So just imagine how that would feel now. To think, right, okay, I can do this and I can do that and I can do that and I can feel in control. Would you think that that would eliminate the fear? No, it really doesn't. Fear is, you could look at it that fear is, maybe it's a product of the ego. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I know that we are very ego-driven when when we want things, when we're grasping for things, when we're trying to justify ourselves, when we're feeling insecure. Any negative emotion is driven by our ego. So therefore, the ego is never happy when it gets what it wants. The ego, what makes the ego happy is the fact that it wants things. So whatever you get, whatever you give the ego, it's still going to want more. It's never going to say, oh, that's enough, because the ego's job is to want more and more and more and more. So think about this. You can have complete control over a particular situation in your life, but it won't stop the fear, because the fear is up here. So you can be in control and still have these irrational fears, because the fears are created in our heads. The fears are very rarely based on real dangers or real situations that are in front of us. So this is very freeing to realise, by the way, that you cannot have complete control. I've realised recently that that there's certain situations in my life that give me fear, and my unconscious reaction is to try and have control over those situations, and of course you can't. And in fact, the more you try and control something, generally the more it runs away from you. because you cannot control other people, you cannot control other people's reactions, you can only control your mindset. So I'm going to give you the mantra that will hopefully help you, and this has really helped me today. So with a mantra, there's not really any right or wrong way to do a mantra. You don't have to be sat like this, you don't have to be making strange noises or chanting, you don't have to have music playing. You can say a mantra in your head, you can say it out loud, you could write it down as well. It's whatever works for you. It's basically an affirmation, and you are telling your brain and you're telling the universe. So here's the mantra when you're feeling afraid. Okay, you say to yourself, I am uncertain, and that is okay. I am uncertain, and that is okay. So you can do a variation of that. You can change the words. You could say, I am feeling unsure, and I am okay with that right now. I'm feeling uncertain, and that's fine for now. Okay, so basically the world's not going to end because you don't know the outcome. And things aren't necessarily going to turn out bad because you don't know the outcome. Right, think about this, okay? So we don't know 100% what the weather's going to be like tomorrow. Now, somebody gave me this analogy a couple of years ago and it just came back into my head. I thought it was really good. So we, as humans, one of our basic human needs is certainty. Okay, so on the one hand, we need a certain level of certainty. But here's the thing, on the other hand, another basic human need is uncertainty, variety, spontaneity. Because if you have certainty in every area of your life, all the time, every day, how would you cope with that? You'd go stir crazy unless you are an absolute control freak. But nobody can have control over every little thing, every day, all the time. Do you wake up and know exactly what's going to happen every second of the day? Of course not. Think of this analogy. We don't know what the weather's going to do every day. We might wake up and think, oh yeah, so the weather forecast said it's meant to be quite mild today. So you dress accordingly, and then suddenly it rains, and you think, okay, that's a pain. It doesn't mean the world's ending, and we find a way of coping. So just keep this in mind. We need certainty. We crave certainty, but on the other hand, as human beings, we also crave uncertainty because, we don't want the one extreme of not knowing anything that's going to happen. If you woke up and you didn't know if you were going to have a roof over your head, and you didn't know if you had money coming in, and you didn't know if you had any clothes to wear, and you didn't know if your family were going to be there. You think about that level of, that chaos and that uncertainty and how stressful that would be. Think of the other extreme, not having certainty. So anyway, hope that's helped you guys. I'll catch you soon.